really glad you found this video. I'm really glad. Because I have actually not got a clue what I'm about to share with you. That's not entirely true. I do have some of a clue. But I don't have a whole clue, okay? So what's going to happen now is I'm going to talk. I'm going to drink my cacao. And I would love to invite you to just pause. Pause and trust that wherever you clicked on this video, however you landed here, just trust that for a moment. Something brought you here, an impulse, a moment. Now you're here. You can click off, you can go, if it's not for you. But I'm going to do things differently in this video. I'm not going to come at you with hugely inspirational and highly energetic ideas about how you're about to break through to your next level. I'm not going to give you nice and soothing affirmations about how you're amazing and you're going to break through. You know all that. You know all that. I want to speak to you from a place of spaciousness, without any agenda for a moment, other than just to be, just to connect, just to express, just to feel alive. And so maybe however long you stay, if you stay to the end of this video or not, whatever, what I would love for you to receive from this is a moment of space for you to remember who you are. Even if it's just for one tiny little fraction of a moment, there's an inner recognition of, oh yeah, I am a vast ocean. I am. And actually maybe that's enough. Maybe I don't need to fill that with anything. Maybe I don't need to add things to that. Maybe just for this video, for this moment, I can stop the search. Not forever. You can pick it up again after this. That part of you that is addicted to the search, to seeking, to becoming, to healing, to manifesting, to fixing, to working on themselves. It's a beautiful part. We don't need to get rid of it. What I'm inviting is just for this video, for the next 10 minutes, invite it to step aside. And from that place, from that space, let's be curious about what wants to arise, right? The reason why I'm filming this video with like, I just press record, and to be honest, I do tend to do that with these YouTubes, but I usually will have some kind of idea. But I notice there's often a bit of an energy in me of like trying to get somewhere. It's like I'm trying to get to the point of the video, and often that point subconsciously is like, I want to impact you, and I want to get views, and I want you to watch this, and I want all these things, and that's fine. We're going to want things. But right now I'm so much more interested in what wants to emerge through me when I give it space to, rather than what my small self thinks needs to happen. And so as I'm sharing that, I'm also inviting you into that for a moment. Because what happens? What happens when you let go of control for a moment? What happens when you stop trying so hard for a minute? You know that part of you that's just like kind of relentlessly, restlessly seeking and striving, trying to get to some end point? Do you feel that? Let me know in the comments if you do. And it's like everything that you do has this undercurrent of tension behind it, because it's become a means to get to some end, and you're not even quite sure what that end is. there's just this sense that somewhere, somewhen in the future, you might arrive. For some of you, that will be a manifestation, something that you're trying to create in your life: money, relationship, business success. For others, it might be the spiritual pursuit, or like when I'm healed enough, when this trauma's gone, and my body doesn't hurt anymore. You might be really lofty, and it might be world peace, right? A new earth. But have you noticed that it never arrives? You never actually feel like you arrive. You never land where you are. Even when you create things that you used to want to create, when you manifest things, when you attract that relationship, when you create, you are a creator. You've always created. You've succeeded so many times. And so quickly, there's something else that comes in to fill that gap. I was speaking to a friend about this last night. That part of us as humans that wants more and more and more and more, it often gets demonized in spiritual spaces. I don't think it's bad. I think we just relate to it wrong. We let it constantly drive, and that's why you're tired. That's why so often we're tired. You're tired. Part of you's pretty tired. if you're honest with yourself, you're kind of tired of the pursuit, of the seeking, of the striving, of the constant, like, let's get there. Everything you do has this kind of charge behind it of like, I've got to get through this. This has to get me to where I'm going, even though I'm not entirely sure where I'm going, but I have the sense that I'm going somewhere, and one day it will all make sense. You're not going anywhere. You're not. This is the one great truth. That you have already arrived. What happens when you just breathe into that? Not as something that you try and make happen. Don't try and make a sense of arriving happen, because that's the same pattern. It's the same doer trying to control. It's actually his striving. What if you just exhale into that as a question? What if I've already arrived? What if there is nowhere to get to? Let that drop like a pebble in a very still lake for a moment, and just cast some ripples. The essence of my work and what I'm coming to discover as part of my life's purpose is to, first of all, for myself, but then also to help and guide other people. This really is to arrive in a place in my body, in my nervous system, in my being, where I'm not striving from a place of survival anymore, and where I can build and create not as a means to get somewhere, to make something happen, to achieve, to succeed, to prove myself, to perform, to get validation, to whatever it is, whatever the many egoic traps that we get caught in, that I get caught in, we all get caught in. What if we could build and create like a master painter paints? Like the musician that plays music purely because that's just what he was born to do, that's what he does. What if we could create like that? What if we could live like that? What if everything could just be an expression of that? I didn't fully understand, like I hadn't formulated this into words as to why I was doing the video this way, but this is why. I was kind of writing down and thinking about strategy and hooks and all these things, and I was just like, dude, actually, I just like talking to a camera. I enjoy it. It's fun. I like just flowing. Maybe that's enough. And if people watch this and they get something from it, that's amazing. That's beautiful. That's why I'm so glad you're here. I would love to share this energy with you and for you to receive something outside of me trying to impact you, trying to get you somewhere, trying to inspire you. Just receive it, whatever. What if that's possible for you too? In the thing that you do? Because generally the people that I call in, the people that find my content, the people that I work with, you're not new to this path, right? You know that you're here for something more. You have this sense that there's something in you that wants to be expressed, that wants to be built, that wants to be created. I call it your song, the song that your soul is here to sing. It could literally be a song. It could be a business. It could be a family, relationship. It could just be in like, I have no idea what I want to create, but I just know there's something in me that wants to live a way that no one else has. It's my way. I want to find what that is. That's your song. It's your essence. It's your soul. That's just here to express itself in its own way. And so you normally find me when there is an emergence of, I'm ready to commit to that in a deeper way. I'm ready to let my soul sing its song in a new way, in a devoted way, in a way where like I stop pretending. I stop pretending that this isn't the most important thing in the world. And I also stop making that bigger than it needs to be. Because you hear that like, oh, it's so important, and it is. It's like why you're here. But then sometimes the ego puts all this pressure on it. It doesn't have to be pressure. It's not meant to come with pressure. I've got my window open right now and I can hear birds singing. The bird is singing its song. That's what it's here to do. Literally, it's singing a song, but its soul's song is to just be a bird. It's not hard for it to be a bird. And the great lie that you've been sold, that we've all been sold, is that being yourself isn't safe. And because you believe that, now that you're trying to become who you're meant to be, and very often actually you're trying to become someone else's idea of who you're meant to be, but we'll talk about that in another video. You now believe it's hard, which is why you never actually arrive in what you're doing. There's a tension there. There's a gripping. And that's often why it's also not working the way you want it to work. Because you're adding all this, what we call excess potential to it, you know? Like, let's take the bird singing analogy. You can imagine, as the train goes past very slowly, you can imagine like if you try and sing, you can just naturally sing. You can just, you don't have to, whatever, you just let the noise come out. But if you like gripping really hard and tensing up your vocal cords and like really trying really hard to sing, then that's how you damage your vocal cords and it doesn't work. The harder you try, the less you actually do the thing. That's why Yoda is the great master of our times. Do or do not, there is no try. So what if your song, what you're here to sing, what you're here to create, who you're here to be, what if it could be far more effortless, easeful, natural, magical than you've been letting it be? That's the question I want to leave you with today. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Tobias. I am a guide and an initiator. My magic, my music, as I've said, is to help you sing your song. to help you align with the truest essence of your being, and to bigly, boldly, beautifully devote yourself to that, to singing your song however you want to sing it. For some people that looks like breaking through and creating huge success in their business. For others, as I said, it looks like deepening their intimacy and their relationships. For some, it's simply, how do I move through this trauma that has been running my life for so long and just find a bit of peace and space? I'm not here to tell you what your song is. I'm not here to impress upon you some idea of greatness. You are great. Your greatness is in claiming and owning what wants to emerge through you and letting that happen. And as I say, my magic, my music, my medicine is to help you do that by taking what I call a rite of passage. It is just a rite of passage. That's what it is. Initiation. You move from one reality into the next. You move from the version of you that's been trying and gripping and striving and forcing and controlling and resisting into the version of you that actually just lets it happen, that just is what you are. And if that sounds like something that speaks to you, I have a free session that I call The Crossing. This is a 25-minute beautiful journey where we're just going to drop in very precisely and just get honest about what's this threshold you're at in your life. Again, between these two versions of you. Who are you no longer going to be as you step fully into your music and your song? And what needs to complete? What needs to let go? What part of you is still gripping, still controlling, still trying to sing instead of just singing? That's a free session. You can book it via the link in the description below. We'll take you to a little page. You just put in your email, boom, you book it in, and we'll have that breakthrough. And then you can do more work with me if you want to do it. But really, that's just there because I want to serve more people like you to sing your song. So thank you for being here. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, or don't, whatever. But if you did watch the end of the video, I would love to know, because I'm quite new to this YouTube game. I haven't really got an audience over here yet. So I deeply care about you if you've cared enough to watch this video. And if you want to comment, if you want to interact, I would love to. Most of all, take a breath, because you've arrived.